I think the key thing is friendship first. You can't, I mean, I just feel like if it starts out without you being friends first, I mean, I don't know, I just feel like you hang around that person without, the intentions of dating them first, then you really know what they're like. And you actually, I mean, it's important to be best friends if you're dating somebody. That's so important. Because if they're not your best friend, if you can't tell them everything, if you don't want to discuss things with them because they're unreasonable, then why are you with them? Like, it sounds really cliche, but why, I mean, why not date your best friend? If you feel like if there's somebody else you feel like you should be talking to about your problems, then something's wrong. Like, like that person should be the one that you can go to with anything and be like, oh, at least they understand me. I don't think, and if you have a friend that's taking that place, then maybe you need to reconsider, your relationship. But I feel like that's really important. Um, I've never started off that way with anybody else, or like without the intention of like dating them. But that's really important. First things. Um, the second is that you've got to have some. I feel like common things. You don't have to be the same on everything. You don't. I mean, you don't have to be. I think there's a lot of truth the opposites attract, but really it's just like um, main key points. Like, are you against abortion? Are you this and that? Like, you don't have to be the same religion, but you gotta agree on stuff like that. You need to have somebody that's gonna be on your team, that's gonna be on your side when you are talking about things, or just be on your side for everything. I mean, that's supposed to be your support right there. And and it's okay to have disagreements and be different, but you've got to have some level of um, understanding like that. I'm not sure how to say it. Um,
Understand each other on a soul level.
yeah, not just. It makes a lot of sense.
Furthermore, I could say that usually the opposites attract maxim is true when we talk about physical characteristics, but the same is also true for birds of a feather flock together when it comes to minds being a key.
That's very true. There's no real rule you can set on it. It really goes by the individual.
And do you think that a good relationship is something you work on, or is something that pretty much comes natural?
I think some degree of it should come naturally. I don't think you should be having problems and fighting and having all that shit from the start. I feel like you should. Um, Part of it should come naturally, but it should still be something you work on. I mean, nothing's absolutely perfect, and if it is, then you're lying to yourself. But um, like um, like you shouldn't be. I mean, people who are fighting right off the bat. It's like, what are you doing? Why? I feel like some degree should come naturally.
And what do you think about relationships that go through this incredible honeymoon phase and then they transform into a nightmare?
They weren't meant to be. I mean, everybody has the honeymoon phase, but
Psychologically
when
speaking, the
that's
honeymoon
over,
phase lasts about 6 months, and after that, you come into this choice of being either long, long-lasting partners or not long-lasting
yeah.
partners. Um,
I mean, if it goes to disaster after that, then just leave. I mean, what's the point? I, I don't see the point. I don't see anything worth fighting for if that's all it takes. Like 6 months. But I don't know.
Okay, let's say that if you could give three pieces of advice, three rules for one of our viewers to follow, three rules to seek the best relationship they can get. And I just came up with like the $1 million question right off the bat. Yeah, why not?
Um,
Off the tip of your head. By the way, Loris, your question is going to be how to become a millionaire tomorrow. Okay, they're just saying. Joel, you're gonna find out the answer to the afterlife. Jessica, yeah, Jessica, I want to know the trick to immortality. All of this within the next 15 minutes, everybody. Okay? Good. Now, Susanna.
Um, trust. If you can't trust them, or you don't trust them, or they give you any reason not to, leave. That's the number one. I mean, there's no point in trying to lie to yourself. Trust is number one. Um, if you're not enjoying it, just what are you doing? Like, it's supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be something that causes you extra stress or takes away from your life. It should add to your life. And if it doesn't, then you don't need it. And you need to be able to own up to that and be like, okay, admit it to yourself. Because it should never be something that takes away from your life. And that person should be, they should make you better. And you should make them better. And if you're not, then you need to leave each other alone. Just wasting time. And sometimes money. Third one.
This sex sucks. Walk away.
2.5. Let's mention that
2.5.
once we're at it.
No, I mean, come on, though. Seriously.
No, I'm
No,
down.
yeah,
It's
that's
true.
the thing.
Let's be real a minute.
Yeah, if your sex life doesn't work, you're doomed to
Yeah,
failure.
if the parts don't match, walk away. Because there's a lot to be said for sexual satisfaction that you seek with one person. Usually, you're looking at a monogamous relationship.
Yeah, if you don't get it,
So
eventually.
if you're not enjoying the one person you're actually doing.
Now? Yeah. Hold on, I have to throw a ball. Hey, Thomas.
Susanna talks about.
Can I see the ball?
Being friends first. And,
Okay, thank you, Thomas.
And you need to not have dating that person in mind. But let's cut the shit. The first attraction for the most part is physical. Now,
Except for when it's not.
yeah, but again, that's a very, very small percentage. So are you telling everybody to seek the non-physically attractive partner?
I mean,
No.
So where are you coming from with that?
Where am I coming from is when both times when I focused on just that.
Well, I never
Every
said
time.
just
Actually,
that.
every time. And when that's my main priority, it never ended up amounting to anything.
Well, you're changing my wording.
That's what I'm saying.
I didn't say it should be your main priority.
No.
I understand you
but
should focus on just that. But I'm saying that is absolutely something endemic, and definitely the first attraction is physical.
Of course. Of course.
So,
I mean, that's the difference between
so
somebody
how
who
can
stays
you
a friend
approach
and
a lot of
doesn't.
times somebody that you're naturally physically attracted to because that attraction? So are you saying that you should control the spark you may feel with somebody and nurture a friendship, and then see if the spark may take place?
If you want, it's really like either way, but the way
As opposed to what do you mean either way? I'm
I
sorry.
mean, you can go for it, or you can see if you actually like them first, more than just what they look like. Like you like them as a person, get to know them, hang out, be friends with them, because people act completely different when you approach them just from a standpoint like that.
So if I understand, you mean that
Like they're not when you're like the way we were. You're not trying to impress anybody. You're not trying to put on your best whatever. Like you're just here. Look, the worst thing that just ever happened to me. Like let's sit and talk about it. Whatever. Like I don't know. That's just the way that I like it. I know lots of things don't start that way. In my experience, I feel like that's the only.
Well, I
It's worth
understand. My question is, it's not a matter of whether they should or should not start that way. What I'm saying is that if you're talking about relationships and the perfect relationship, then we have to start from a very natural starting point, which is two people are physically attracted to each other. And when they start getting together, even getting to know each other, do you think it's possible to develop a connection like a friendship while at the same time being on quote unquote dating terms?
That's definitely possible. It's possible.
if I may throw my 2 cents in it, let me move the camera a little so I don't blow people's ears off. if my two cents is that the physical attractions, the butterfly, whatever it is that may come, it's an emotional reaction, and as such, it is kind of like an alarm signal that goes off in your brain. Hey, look up. This person may be interesting. As such, it's telling you to look into that person. It's not telling you that that's the right person. So there is a secondary step, anyways. You know, no matter who you're dating, at some point you found the person uh, physically attractive, emotionally attractive, somehow attractive on a very superficial level. Whether or not, you know, if I were to give advice on a blank slate, I would say be friend first, regardless. Just be friends with no other intent in your head. So remove, even if you do like the person, remove the thought, remove the attraction. Just be friends, like you be buddies with a dude, and then eventually date. But to your point, sometimes you just that happens simultaneously, and I would have no reason to say no, 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 no. That's wrong and impossible. It is okay. It is possible. Does it make sense?
Well, of course it is.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But yeah, I
Just
wouldn't.
wanted to make sure that we hit the whole scope.
Yeah, that's fine.
Technically speaking, you're attracted to them genetically. When you smell their pheromones, your olfactory nerves in your nose decode their genetic information and tell you whether or not they are a good genetic comparison to yours and whether you would have viable offspring.
That means
Therefore, your initial physical attraction is nothing more than a genetic comprehension of their biochemistry.
that's a very interesting take. I never thought of it. Huh. Now, yes, doggy. Yes.
But to say that you would have good offspring, i.e., most of the time lead to good sex because that's how those genetic things work, you have to look further into that to have something fulfilling.
That is true. And there is a source that I'm not going to name on video, which you know I'm very much related to, that tells us that, especially to men, it tells us that we are supposed to physically please the women we're with. Well, the woman we're with
Physically
individually.
please them.
Yeah. To actually make sure that they have a good experience and to have good sex. It's actually stated in a very ancient holy book of a certain tradition, which is very widespread throughout the world.
Throughout the what?
The world, which I said perfectly fine. And I'm not gonna say it's a book that starts. It's a book that's titled "The Book." I'm not gonna say which one it is. And there are at least 3 different religions that somehow follow it.
Somehow.
Yes, and
more or less along the
well, in
lines.
different ways. And yeah, but I'm not saying what book it is. No. Okay. So so it is at least traditionally, spiritually, there is actually a teaching.
Was it first printed in Germany?
Uh, in
No.
a well, depending on what you define printing.
No, actual printing.
The actual printing,
Actual
yeah.
printing.
Gutenberg,
First
yes.
ever printed.
It happened to be the first book ever printed. Yes.
Mm.
Yep. And yeah, it is yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I think so. Basically, it actually there is a teaching about having, in a certain interpretation thereof, of having good sex life, and there is a lot of things that actually connect to this. But this thing about the genetics, really, I didn't know that. That's actually cool. Makes me wonder about how much of a flu I had sometimes. Yeah, I must have smelled the wrong thing here and there, really. Sir, you do not have a nose. But,
That's
but
definitely something I could strongly argue against.
well, you make it so
I could probably, actually show empirical proof.
that is true. You can take pictures of this particular individual with no nose.
Literal empirical proof.
Yeah,
With what?
or maybe there is
Science.
so much,
What?
or maybe the nose is so long that it takes so long for the particle to reach the nerve that the particle decays, and so it's difficult to recognize
Perhaps.
in the quantum cloud of
I
decaying of the
will,
particle.
I will kill you all.
Yeah.
Most gruesome,
Are you gonna use
inhumane
science,
manner.
Joe?
Joe, you know the difference between you and I?
Hydrofluoric acid will be spilt upon your face. You know what hydrofluoric acid does? It doesn't burn your skin. Your skin, in fact, doesn't interact with hydrofluoric acid. It's perfectly fine. What it does is it seeps past the plasma membranes of your skin, reaching your bones, and slowly dissolves your bones, which is incurable and unstoppable.
Well, thank you. I have a feeling.
Unstoppable.
I'm not. I think I'm gonna have to bleep this out.
You will have to bleep it out. God damn it, it's not raw.
Well, anyways, I don't know if I even can. But still,
Fluorine.
fluorine.
Oh, well.
Thank you for sharing that with us. And yes, the difference between you and I,
I'm gonna go hide in a quantum cloud.
you see,
I'm done.
You'll never catch him.
Joe, the difference between you and I is that your science is accurate, mine is entertaining. Now, what's best? Now, with that being
The
said,
people what they want.
why be accurate?
It can be entertaining.
Exactly. The Earth is flat, and by the way, there is okay, let's move on. Susanna, and the third suggestion you would give. Yes,
Oh.
we need trust. We need to feel comfortable with the person.
And
Then point five.
They
Good.
have to. You have to share the same sense of humor. You have to. How are you gonna have any fun? Really,
So how does your relationship work with that?
he's really fucking funny, and I laugh all the time. That's how it's like.
Yeah, you heard that? Yeah, I'm
She laughs at you all
funny.
the time. I heard it.
Yeah, she
That's
laughs
what
at me.
she
On,
said.
yes. Susanna, you don't need to have a talk now. Okay. All right. Thanks, everybody. Till next time.